Hey there. Our hearts go out to the people of Hawaii following the devastating Maui fires. If you would like to help or are in a position to donate, then the Hawaii Community Foundation has the Maui Strong Fund to directly assist the people of Maui, as well as the Maui Food Bank and Aloha Way Maui Fire Relief Fund. If you're not able to donate, then please share any of the links below to the charities and resources, as every bit helps. Let's help our friends in Maui and Hawaii. Thank you.
So everybody, it's Mekel Kasanova coming at you with another episode of Decked Up, a gaming and tech podcast. And I want to talk about something real quick. This isn't going to be a very long podcast episode, but it's one where I want to talk about the Lenovo Legion Go, because I know when this was the first leaked and announced and we found out about it, I talked about the pricing, and I talked about how the price of this is going to need to be in the ballpark figure of where the ROG Ally is. Like, it's not, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. No handheld PC gaming device is going to touch what the Steam Deck is doing. None are going to come within that sphere. So do keep that in mind and understand that, like, we're not going to get anything that's going to be that, low of a price. They got that on lock, and that's always going to be the advantage that they have. Now, I do see with, the next Steam Deck is probably going to go up maybe $50 or so from the base, but they always are going to have that unlocked. They can operate, and they can afford to operate at a loss with the Steam Deck on the hardware side, because they're always making up for it on the software side. So getting back to the point, one of the things that I said about the Lenovo Legion Go, again, like I said, it had to be within the ballpark figure of where the ROG Ally is. And I knew that they were going to be two different models. And that was one of the things I said. There need to be a model that has 512 and a model that has 1 terabyte. Now, I estimated before in previous episodes that they would be $699 and $749. And lo and behold, here we go here. That is what they are. 1 terabyte, one $749, and then the 512 is $699. This right here is such a game changer, price wise. Now, this is going to make any other competitor that enters the space, they're going to have to start offering a 1 terabyte option. So looking at this, let's go ahead and look at the top end one, right? I'm gonna click on it because you can't really do anything. Information is coming soon. We know this is going to be dropping in, I believe it's dropping in October. So that's going to be my birthday month when this is coming out. I believe, I could be wrong. It could be coming out this month in September, but I believe it's October. So anyway, Lenovo Legion Go, right? So 8.8 inch, 144 hertz, WQ XGA, which means a 2K resolution, a gaming handheld, AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme, so same as the ROG Ally, 16 gigs of RAM, which reportedly is faster than the RAM that's in the ROG Ally, and with a terabyte M.2 SSD. And we see all this. I'm guaranteed getting this. I'm guaranteed buying this. So there's really not a whole lot of information on that, but this is the first device that's within this range of a higher than 1080p that's mainstream. Now, I'm not including INEO or any of these other devices, but I'm looking at the pricing here. This is going to be really nice. And you get the Game Pass Ultimate Trial, which is probably going to be like 3 months. This is already amazing. Now, let's go look at the other variation that they have for this. And again, there's not a lot of information on Best Buy's site, but you know. So anyways, we're going to look at this variation, and it's got pretty much all the same specs. The difference is this is 512. So yeah, it's I think a question a lot of people are gonna have at this point is going to be, if you've got $699 burning in your pocket and you had to choose between the ROG Ally, the Steam Deck, and the Lenovo Legion Go, what should you go with? Me personally, because I'm a tech head and I love all the new stuff, I personally would go with this. For $699, and honestly, I would spend the extra 50 and get the higher end one. You get a terabyte of storage. You're going to be able to play with a better resolution screen, although I would definitely recommend you keep it at either 1080p or even 720p for that matter. Bigger battery life. You get detachable controllers that function like Joy-Cons. You get a kickstand, so you don't have to worry about having to get something like the Ally Mate or Deck Mate or the Legion Mate, because that's guaranteed that's going to be something serious going to come up with. You get a right detachable controller that allows you to use it as a mouse. A very interesting mouse, but one that Dave2D has already stated is really good. And one downside is a single fan, but I can deal with it because it seems like they've done very well with thermals and just the functionality of it. Now, that's going to be interesting. I'm wondering if there's like a future Virtual On game, if we could use this as like these two controllers. I don't know how many people are familiar with Virtual On. So what I want to do here is I want to play Dave2D's video so we can look at that. All right, so here we are with Dave2D's video. I don't want to play the audio because I don't see a point in really doing that. But, if you guys want to watch the video, the link will be down in the description down below. But look at the size of this. This thing looks really good size-wise. Like, I'm really blown away with the size of it. It's going to be a big boy. So, like, if you found the Steam Deck to be big or the Ally to be big, keep in mind, this is going to be a big boy. This is a bigger device for people to have bigger hands. Like for me, this works because I've got big hands. But I like the look of this. The placement of the buttons is going to be very interesting. So yeah, you have the button at the bottom. You press it and then you can detach them. And then the fact that I can just prop it up on a kickstand and then use these two controllers next to each other like that, just handheld. I like it. It's basically they took the Switch idea and they just took it to a whole new level. Now, I don't recommend for anyone who's looking, if you have issues with like the size of the deck, I wouldn't say go with this at all because it's a bigger device. I am going to need some type of anti-reflective screen, glass screen to put on this, because I will say that I do find I don't know, that reflection is a little annoying. So if you're out in some sunlight, like out here in Hawaii, for me, this is not going to be a good look. Turn the light on because it's getting a little dark. But yeah, that kickstand, and look at the hinges on that. It's looking really good. I'm really looking forward to this. That is sturdy, and pretty much get the switch over here. So I'm looking at the hinges on that, and they're very similar to the hinges that are on, let me switch over here. They're very similar to the hinges that are on the Switch, although not entirely. but it's going to be sturdy. Now look at that in comparison to the deck, roughly around the same size, but look, you got so much less bezel, so much more screen, and it's just like, man, but it's a bigger device. It's a much bigger device, so do keep that in mind. You know, it's a good percentage bigger. And I'm wondering how much it weighs, because I know Dave says it's not that heavy, but I'm still curious about it. So the Ally, in comparison to it, Ally is much smaller. Uh, I find it ergonomic. Some people say it's not, but you know, you're looking at the 7-inch screen on the deck and on the Ally, and then you've got an 8.8-inch. You got a big old biggin, you know. But again, what I really like about this is being able to maneuver around windows with that trackpad, that and that Joy-Con, or I'm just gonna call them Joy-Con, that can double as a mouse. And I know there's gonna have some revisions where you can utilize it with so you can like I think it's gonna have magnets in the thing that it can be attached to. Let me go. He showcases it here, so we'll go here. So this thing here is supposed to have some magnets that's going to be added to this so that it secures in place. So when you put it in, I mean, that's a very interesting mouse, I think, to hold it like that. There are mouses like that, and I know they're popular, but this is going to have a very interesting look and style to it. The only thing I'm kind of worried about is the D-pad any good? Now, we've heard various things. Um, I think he said that the D-pad wasn't that great. Tech Chap didn't really comment on it. And the thing I try to look for when I'm, when I'm looking for certain stuff, like now he's showing like how it runs on Street Fighter. I personally try to find people who do content that actually play games that I care about. You know, like there are a lot of people who are doing videos that are very general on this thing, which is, I'm not knocking that, but I need to know how good the D-pad is because I play a lot of 2D games. I play a lot of fighting games. And if I got a bad D-pad, that's just not going to be good. So, yeah, I'm very excited for this. And then you got the goggles. You just plug it. You can, I believe you can plug it into the top or the bottom, and it'll just go from there. So that's also cool. I'll also be picking that up when this comes out. I probably should reach out to Lenovo and see if I can get a review unit. It probably won't, but you know, it's worth. It doesn't hurt to reach out. But going back to this, you know, the size and everything. Let me go back to where he's just showcasing the device itself. So just looking at the size of this, right? I love the size. I love the ergonomics. And going back to the question I initially posed at the beginning of the podcast, if you've got $699 or if you can afford $749, should you go with this, the Steam Deck, or the ROG Ally? If you want as close to a console experience that's very polished and you at least know without having to do a whole lot of tinkering, the games are working. If you're fine being primarily in the Steam ecosystem, and if you don't mind tinkering going outside of that to get other platforms running on it, then I would say get the Steam Deck. Also, you can save money, get the cheapest one. You can actually now, that's another thing I need to bring up, and I'm going to bring that up by going over to GameStop because that's something I'm not sure how many people are aware of this, but you can now buy Steam Decks from GameStop. I'm pulling it up right now. Let's see. Let me search it up on Steam Deck. All right, so switch back over. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. So yeah, you can get Steam Decks now, refurbished ones from GameStop. So roughly 20% less than newer models. And so you look at the normal price. So you can get a 64 gig for 319, 256 for 429, 512 for 518. So what I'm thinking of doing, if I wanted to get another Steam Deck down the road, I'd probably get it through GameStop. That I can just walk in and buy. I know ones here I can just walk in and just pick one up. I'd probably trade something towards it, you know, because for when I want to play stuff on the TV, like the multiplayer 2D games like Shredder's Revenge or Double Dragon Gaiden and stuff like that, it is much simpler to just do that on a deck. Although I don't even have to buy another deck because Leho and I share one, so I could just use hers. Uh, it's just a better experience than what, and that's the one downside of dealing with the Windows as a platform is certain things like the docking experience is not as smooth as it is on the deck. This just has, it's unrivaled, right? So these being available, love it. Even the dock is I believe cheaper than if you were to buy it new. So 518.99, 429, 319. So that's 518.99 is a lot cheaper than spending, you know, full price for a normal deck. You know, 649. That you're saving a lot of money going with this. So that's available. You know, you can get yourself a refurbished deck. And I want to say if Valve can work out a deal with GameStop or even with Best Buy where you can walk in the store and get a deck, that right there is going to make it even harder to go recommend anything other than the deck. I'm just saying. I'm being completely honest. I'm not even trying to bullshit you guys. That's going to be such a game changer. But yeah, like this right here, these prices. I mean, you can even get them refurbished off of their Valve's website too, off of, you know, Steam. But being able to walk in a brick and mortar store, that right there is just, yeah. So yeah, going back to the thing, like if you want that console experience and a smooth gameplay experience overall with most AAA, majority of all the AA and all the indie games, can't go wrong with the Steam Deck. The ROG Ally, I love it. The SD card issue is still a thing. You know, I've had to RMA mine and I got it back, and I just am not comfortable using a micro SD card in mine. And I am of the mindset of putting a 2 terabyte drive in there. But instead of spending that money on the drive, if I can just get the 1 terabyte one for the Legion Go, I'm gonna go with that overall. So that's just my thing. That's just things I'm thinking about here. Like I feel like honestly at the price ranges that are available, and if you're willing to ignore the D-pad on the Legion, I would say there's only two options. Either get a deck or get a Lenovo Legion Go. Um the Ally is gonna have to come down in price because with it being the same price as the Legion Go, the base model, with that having a 2K screen is bigger overall, the Allies, I think they're gonna need to, and this is just me. Y'all can agree or disagree with me, but I feel like the Ally needs to drop at least $100 to be competitive. But that's me. Anyways, what do y'all think? Why don't y'all let me know what y'all think with leaving a comment on the YouTube video or leaving a comment if you're listening to this on whatever your favorite podcasting outlet is. What do you think Asus needs to do with the impending release of the Legion Go? What do you think of the Legion Go as a whole? Is it something you're considering? Are you liking the bigger size, or is it too big for you? Because that's something that's a conversation also. And what do you see as the future of the deck? Do you think the deck is going to get any type of upgrade within the next year or half a year or 2 years? What do you think that is? whatever your thoughts are, let's get that conversation going. And also, if you haven't already, if you're watching this on YouTube, sub to the channel, greatly helps us out. The notification bell, and also follow us on all social media platforms, and also follow the podcast. So, all that being said, I catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe, be blessed, have aloha, donate to the various charities here in Hawaii to help the people of Maui, because that's a long ongoing process, and it's something we're definitely going to need a lot of support on. So if you can do that, great. If not, share the link around. I'll leave a link down below. So all that being said, catch y'all on the next one. A hui ho, stay blessed, and I'll see you around. Peace.